Hello everyone, I am back in front of some of my favorite paintings because I forgot to do my nonprofit spotlight for the week, or really for the few days because I posted a few days ago. And I forgot to tell you the handles, the Instagram handles for the people that I mentioned in this video. So I will be putting their handles below, and then the nonprofit that I am shouting out this week is the Trevor Project. They are a suicide prevention hotline for trans people, and if you would like to check out their website or pass along their information to the trans loved ones in your lives, or just notify your own audience about it because it is important, then they will be linked below, and as will the Instagrams for the people that I have mentioned in my video. And in the meantime, you can go to mommarainart.com. She made these paintings. They are absolutely incredible. Okay guys, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Savana, IFBB Bikini Pro, and today we're going to talk about studying the sport. What the heck is it? How do you do it? So, if you are trying to do well at your show, regional, pro qualifier, pro show, stuff like that, any level, then you want to study the sport. But what does study the sport mean? So, studying the sport, a first resource that you can look to are my other videos where I recap all the shows that happen. Pretty much all the Bikini Pro shows I have been covering, except for like one or two where I couldn't find info. So that is the first thing, and just so you guys have some exciting visuals to look at, I'm not going to pull up my YouTube channel, just because I'm afraid I will reveal, my passwords or something. So that was a teaser. Okay, so what is studying the sport? The first thing, if you're like just getting into it, is listen to people who do the sport. And people who have done the sport for a while. So podcasts will be a first thing. So like Sean Hector Lewis and Jordan Braden have a podcast called Behind the Bikini. Sean solo does commentary on shows just like I do. And then there are and Jordan is like a top 15 Olympian, so she's a top Olympian, and she will tell you exactly what her feedback was and what they do to change it. And she's on Fit Body Fusion, which is owned by Jamie D. Bernard, and Jamie coaches a ton of Olympians, and they do well, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be making it to the Olympia. So listening to people like that who are in and around the sport, so you can understand more why coaches make changes, what they change, why they do certain shows, what their feedback was at shows, and how they fix their physique or whatever to adhere to the feedback. Another thing is judges will do interviews. So Tyler Mannion has done an interview. I'm gonna try to keep this interesting by pulling it up. Well, okay, anyway, so Tyler Mannion has been on Hani Rambad's podcast. Steve Weinberger has been on Fuad's podcast. Sandy has been on a bunch of podcasts. And what you want to do there is you want to see what they say and compare that to your own take. So for example, whenever I buy a stream for a show, I try to do a video after prejudging so I can give you my raw, honest first thoughts. And a big reason I do that is because if I can help it, I don't want to wait for the show to end, because I want to see if my thoughts were accurate to what the judges said, so I can avoid hindsight bias. So hindsight bias, if you aren't familiar with what that is, then if you already know what the outcome was, then you can be biased to being oh, I knew that was going to be the outcome, even if you didn't, but you feel like you do because you already know what the outcome was. So yeah, that's why I try to do videos after prejudging when I have a stream for something, and then I compare what my feedback for the athletes was to what the athletes post on their Instagram their feedback was, or what judges say their feedback was. And Tyler Mannion has, since 2023, a Texas show, he has been doing videos of the show he judges, recapping why people placed the way they did. So that is in why, meaning maybe their suit didn't fit. So I'll think, did I notice the suit didn't fit, or did I notice their conditioning was too hard, like Tyler is saying? So things like that, comparing your view to other people who are the authorities in the sport, their view, and going from there. And one big piece of information Tyler gave a year or so ago was that if it comes down, like in bikini, to a more conditioned person and a less conditioned person, they're going to choose to win. They're going to choose the less conditioned person because they don't want to push the bikini division, too far in the harder direction. So that is something that even if you have a personal preference for the harder look, that would be like to say that that person should win if it were between a harder and a softer person. That is your own bias coming through when you know, because you were told by the authority in the sport that the criteria is to go with the softer look in that instance. So that's when you have to put your personal preferences aside and go with what the criteria is. And that becomes super important when you're competing at, like, when you're trying to strive for a goal, like a pro card or doing well at a pro show or something. Or even just winning not to minimize, or even winning a regional show. So things like that. You want to make sure you're listening to the right people to inform your opinion. So that is, let me check my notes. Okay, yeah. Watching judge interviews and comparing your thoughts. Okay, I talked about that. Pre-judging videos, I talked about that. Okay, another thing is, oh no, I already said that. I had to start recording this again because it said there was an issue. But watching like recaps of videos. So like I said, I do recaps of videos. Sean does recaps of videos. Phoebe Hagen, an Olympian, sometimes does recaps of videos. And Coach Adam from Team Elite Physique also does them. So like watching all of those and then comparing your thoughts to it and seeing like what you can take from each perspective, because not everyone is going to notice every single thing. Like, maybe it's just an ADHD thing, but if I watch a movie, I have to watch it like 2 or 3 times because I see something new in it every time. So like really taking in all of the stimuli from all of the sources. Okay, so let's get into, okay, I have a good example. So we're going to do this together. I'm going to show you like how I would study the sport when now and when I was like striving for a pro card. Okay, so a really good example of this. First, this is what you do. You go to NPC News Online. And then I click on contests, and it only shows, use this little arrow, it only shows the 12 most recent contests. So if you want to know the placings for something else, you would type in like NPC Junior USA's 2023, say that's the show you want to see, and then click on NPC 2023 Junior USA Championships. And then you scroll, if there's a specific person you're looking for, say I'm looking for Lacey Rutland, Control F, and then here's Lacey in the pro card standing, and then here she is in the class that she won. So then I would click on either one of those. So yeah, that's like how you would find an older show. Okay, so I'm going to start with my friend Marz. She's my new friend. My friend Marz just competed for the first time, and she looked fucking incredible in the Vancouver Open. So what I'm going to do is, oh yeah, and another thing, did I already say this? If a pro like says, pro or someone like at the level you're at, like a national level, see what they say like on their Instagram afterwards. What did they say their feedback was? And that helps you like learn more too. If you think someone looks great and you're like, they should have won, read what their feedback was and see if you can understand why that was their feedback. And then when they do their next show, see if they improved on it. So yeah, that's a big thing. Okay. So Marz, her name is Marissa. Okay, so here is Marissa. So her feedback at this show, and let's see how many people were in her bikini class. Because that's another thing. If this is a smaller show, which it was, there were just 2 people in her class, then go off of that. Because some people will be like, I got second place, and you'll look, and there were 2 people in their class. So, of course, so it means they got, no shade, but last place. I've been there too. Like, I got 5th at Nationals in wellness once, but it was, if you look at pictures, you'll understand why I got 5th when there were 6 people. Like, I shouldn't have gotten 5th, Okay, so here's Marissa. And she did figure and bikini. So her feedback was that she didn't need to grow her glutes anymore. We talked before this show about, like, what she might need to work on at a national level. And I said that her, glutes were going to be out of balance with the rest of, sorry, it's like so close up, I don't want to just leave that on the screen. It feels like an invasion. So she was told that she doesn't need to build her glutes anymore. And before the show, we talked about how her upper body is more developed than her lower body, and she needs her glutes to catch up with the rest of her body. But I still think she has the potential to go pro at this show, or this season. does that matter that I think that? No, it really only matters what the judges tell you. Like, the only opinion that matters is the judges. So it doesn't matter that I say that. I think it could happen, but it just matters who shows up. So here are her pictures. We also talked about pulling her suit bottoms down a little bit so they're less rounded and more like heart-shaped. And her take in my take after the show too, her take was that she was just, let me just pull it up. I don't want to like be giving misinformation. Okay. So she said that she came in too hard and straight, which was the other thing. And it goes back to what we were saying about about a softer versus harder person winning. So this 2-1. And she was just a little bit softer than Marz. And she believed that her glutes were just like more. Her take was the same as mine, which is that her glutes looked a lot more developed than the person she was next to, because it was just the two of them. There's not like a picture of her back pose, but this girl just had a softer overall look, which goes back to the thing that Tyler said when it comes down to a softer and a harder person. So I agree with Marz that she just was too hard compared to the person she was next to, and her glutes looked incredibly developed, because they are, but at a different show where the lineup was harder, then I think Marz totally could have won. I also think that if we like adjusted where her suit bottoms lay, it would make her upper outer glutes look a little bit fuller. But in the long run, Marz will need to bring up her glutes a little bit to match the fullness that we see on her shoulders. So she said that same thing, and I thought that was such a great take to like think about feedback so critically, especially when it's like the first show you've ever done. So yeah, that just is like that's just an example of someone else studying the sport and taking that into their next shows. Hope that makes sense. I'm like a little bit all over the place. You know what? I say that, but I'm always a little bit all over the place. That's just kind of my default. So yeah, congratulations, Marz. I'm excited to see her at a national show this season, and she will be, changing some presentation things up, and I'm very excited about it. So yeah, that's just a good example of somebody studying the sport and taking judges' feedback and putting it into perspective. So someone else may have done this show and then been told the same thing that she was, which is that you're too hard and that your glutes are overpowering, not to grow them. And then they take that advice, then they go to the national level, and the judges are like, you need to grow your glutes. So that's something that you want to take what the judges say with a grain of salt and put it into perspective and apply it to your own physique and to other factors like who showed up. So yeah, that's one example. Okay. And then another thing that I like to do is I will go to contests and I will click on a show and I will see, okay, who won, and let's do a more competitive show. So earlier shows in the year are not as competitive. So I have pulled up this athlete, Ashley Senna. I am obsessed with her look. She won the overall at the Texas Republic Championships last year. And she just has an incredible look. Full muscle, great complexion, suit color looks great, hair and makeup is perfect, and she won the overall of the show. And then I take a competitive show like this, and the Texas shows are usually very competitive. So I click on that. I click on Texas Republic Championship. I keep saying it wrong, but you get it. And then you see how many people are in just novice, 13. And then you scroll down to open, so class A through H. And you see there's 8 people in that class, 9 people in that class, 8, 9, 3. And there were 6, so there were 6 high classes. So I pulled up Ashley. What else do I have pulled up here? I don't know. Okay, so I pull up Ashley. I pull up all the winners from the classes. So Ashley, Bianca, Raquel, Ashley Vela, Anne Marie, and Rami. So I click on all these people and I see, okay, Ashley looked really good. This is a competitive show based on numbers alone. So what are other people, what's the difference between the overall and the other people who won their classes? Another thing I look at is, okay, Ashley looked really great. Who got second to Ashley? So Ashley Senna. Okay. this girl, Abigail. So whenever there's an overall winner, I always look at who got second to them, because the overall could just be a huge freak, and then that person who got second could go pro at like the next national show. And that's true of like anyone who places most places, but it's just something to take into account. Like the overall a lot of times looks like way better than anyone else. Okay, so this is who got second to her. So I assessed, what are the differences between these people? This girl looks absolutely incredible. What are the differences between her and Ashley? When I just look at this on its face, and I'm not going to go too deeply into it because I don't really want to critique like amateurs, but Ashley just has a little more muscle in the glutes, and she's a little bit overall fuller. So that's where she edges out this person. So I take that into account. And then I also look, what are the places this person has gotten before? This person is consistently getting second and first places. And then at nationals last year, even though she got second to Ashley, she went pro and Ashley did not. So she did national championships, got second place, and first and second place in each high class at NPC Nationals, which is the final national show of the year, gets a pro card. So this girl, even though Ashley won the overall, this girl ended up going pro. So I look at that kind of thing, and then let me go back to, Ashley again. So then I look at some competitor history. So this was her first show ever. And then she went on to do, USA's, missed her pro card by one spot, and then nationals, missed her pro card by one spot. And that was devastating. I was like waiting for this girl to go pro. And then I check, I'm like, okay, who did she get, who beat her? And, okay, actually, we will go over this show. I have this show pulled up. Okay. So yeah, anyway, so that's what Ashley got. And then I look at the other winners. So, where are all my tabs? Okay, so this person won her class. Why did she not win the overall? I think she was a little bit harder than Ashley. Didn't have the same fullness that Ashley had. And same thing, not as muscular as Ashley. And there are some posing things. So I'm like, okay, I see why she didn't get it. And what I'm doing when I look at like who got first place is I'm trying to see, cause they don't do comparisons of like when they do the overall, or when did they do comparisons in, regional shows anyway, only national shows. I'm not able to see in the comparisons who was like standing where. Not that that totally matters, but usually they'll compare the top two in the overall against each other. So then this person got first place. Why did Ashley beat her? I would think same thing. Ashley just has like the fullness of a pro. I think she just isn't a pro yet. Yeah, great balance, but Ashley just edges her out. Ashley like had it all at this show, but that's still a very competitive athlete. Then I look at this person. This person, she got first in her class. Why did she not win against Ashley? I think she has more definition than they wanted to see, compared to, I mean, she's had more definition when they wanted to see, so it goes to Ashley. And then here's another person. I think Ashley has a little more glute development and was a little bit tighter. She had that like bursting through the skin look that I always talk about. And then this is the last person. I think it's tougher when you're taller because you have more surface area to fill out. This person is class F, and it only went A through F of this show. A lot of shows, they go A through H. So this person could be like really tall, and the other people in her height class could be like 5 inches shorter than her. So when you're taller, you have longer muscle bellies to fill out. Laura Morshea was just on Greater Than Ever podcast, and she talks about being tall in bikini, and it's totally, you should go listen to that. So yeah, Ashley just more pop overall and fullness to the muscle. So that's something I like to do. I like to see who beat who, why, what separated first place from in the overall from the other people who all got first place in their class. Okay, and then another thing we're going to go into is that show that I just kind of unintentionally teased. Let me make sure okay, yeah. I had to look at my notes. So this show, going into the show, there were two people I was looking at, Ashley and a girl named Savana. So we're going to look up Savana. These are two people who I was like, they certainly, like, they must go pro this season unless something wild happens. So this is what Savana looked like at her show, Atlantic Coast. She has incredible balance to her physique, fullness, conditioning, hair, makeup, skin looks beautiful, suit looks flawless. overall great look and like very just striking look. Like look at how full her glutes are. So I was looking at her and Ashley when the show was happening, and I was like, worst case is that they're both in the same class, same height class, and somebody else shows up out of nowhere and like takes the pro card. So then fast forward to when the show happened, NPC Nationals, Savana and Ashley were in the same class, and they were in the same class with the overall winner. So here is the overall winner, Massa. Congratulations, Massa. And she was in their height class. So during comparisons, I was like, who is this going to? And I thought that this girl had it. Like, the judges were clearly, like, loving her look, as they should. She ended up winning the overall. Fullness, great balance and conditioning and muscularity all across her physique. Hair, makeup, suit, perfect. Yeah. Everything was just spot on. The glow, the pop she has, it was just like immaculate. Length of the hair, immaculate. And then Savana and Ashley were kind of vying for that second spot. And top two get a pro card. The things I was thinking with Savana and Ashley were that, let me pull up Ashley here and we'll go over them together. So when I was watching the live stream, the things that I was thinking about were, okay, where do they like show a flaw? They both had really great posing conditioning. And what I thought was that Ashley needed a little more upper outer glute here, and that Savana might be a little bit glute dominant and not enough hamstring. So those were the things that I was like, okay, which way are they going to go? Because both of them had like great stage presence and their look was on point. So for me, that's what it came down to. And their posing also looked great. So then looking at their back pose, and Ashley like just did her first show last year. So here's her back pose, and then and this is like what I do. I like pull up all these tabs, I compare next to each other. Sometimes even make side-by-side comparisons in my little layout app. And this is like how you study the sport. So here was Ashley, and here's Savana. And I just thought, okay, Ashley needs more upper outer glute here. We're sloping off. Savana has a lot of projection and like pop through the skin. This is where Savana beats Ashley. And then what you can do, I thought there was an argument for both, but I was leaning towards Savana based on the overall like who would be able to leave this show and go compete as a pro immediately. And Savana looks like she could go compete as pro immediately. Would she be without any feedback? No. Of course, I think her feedback would be like maybe a little more hamstring or something. But that's like how it goes. So then after the show happens, they put out scorecards where they put like the actual scores, not just the placings after these national shows most of the time. So look up NPC Nationals 2024 scorecards. You wait for those to come out. And usually in national shows, they'll do that like the same day or like after prejudging. So I scroll down to Bikini. Oh no, we're in a situation where I have to pee again. So this was class B, and that's the class I were in. Massa won with a perfect score. She got first place with a perfect score. And there was some debate between Ashley and Savana. So a perfect score for Savana would have been 10 points. Sorry, it wasn't like very split between her and Savana. I think there was just some confusion on like where Savana should play. I mean, because 15 didn't indicate a perfect score, but I just look at how close are they to each other. So like if this were 7 and 8, that would be like really close, but this is 4 points in between them. So looking at that and then making your assessment there, just like having the information and going from there. So like in class C, there was a 1 point difference between who got first place in this show, and there was a big gap before third place. A perfect score for third place would be 15. It would go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, so on. So there was some debate over who got first place here. It was really tight. It wasn't perfect for who got first place. And then there was like less discussion over 2 and 3, more discussion between 3 and 4. And then same thing here, 3 point difference, not a perfect score, but 16. So this person was also in between getting third and fourth place. Scroll more, perfect score, 5, 10, and then 16. So there was some debate between 3 and 4. Same thing here. perfect score for third place, tight between first and second. And that's the kind of thing you want to look at. Third and fourth, it was a 1 point difference. Would it matter that much? It would matter personally, but is it going to get you out of the talk of getting a pro card? No. If you get third or fourth place, you aren't getting a pro card anyway. So, yeah, that's what you want to do. Like, look at these scorecards and test what you think against them, see how tight things were. And then if it's really tight between two people, so like 7 and 8, then I'm going to go to 7 and 8 in Class C, and I'm going to ask myself, why was it so close between 7 and 8 in Class C, or 1 and 2 in Class C? So I scroll down to Class C, and I look at Danar, which I think was her first show, or like her first show she ever competed in was last year. No, 2019. Okay. So this was first place. And I'm going to pull up the other girl who got second place. And both of them got a pro card. So that wasn't like a discussion. Both were going pro that day. But what separated between first and second place? I think Danar just had more fullness overall to her physique, and then this person was a little bit tighter. She also looked like she was having more fun on stage that day. So, things like that. I'm not going to go over their back poses, but, you know, stuff like that. Okay, guys, where was I? I just realized I could pause this if I have to go pee. That's amazing. Okay, so, I went over that. Okay, so moving on. We looked at why they got first and second place. And then we go to my notes and we see. So, another thing you want to do is look at these shows and figure out, okay, how did they get here? Because a lot of people, they start competing and they're like, I'm going to go pro, and they haven't even done 2 shows yet. Sometimes haven't even done 1 show yet. So I like to get a little reality check and look at how long someone has been competing. So this person won the overall, and then I go back to their first show. I think, okay, what did Masa look like at the first show she ever did? And I go to Little Years, and I see. So they were still doing the stallion pose at this point. That was her only front pose, I guess, in 2020. So we're going to go to a show where we can actually compare what front poses look like. So here's her front pose. And this just kind of gives you an idea of, am I being realistic with my physique? Because if you look at this overall winner and you think, oh, I could do that, and you just started lifting, then yeah, you can. But if you think I can do that this year, then probably not. So I like to look and see how long it took them to get a pro card. So Ashley, when she gets a pro card, which I believe will for sure happen, you can see that she missed her pro card by 1 spot twice, which is devastating. But when she goes pro, you'll be able to see, like, this is what she looked like, and this was the necessary change it took for her to go pro. So that's one example. Another thing I like to do is, let's take someone like Ali Vathauer. So Ali qualified for the Olympia for the first time last year at the class championships, got first place, and then she did a show a few weeks, or like 2 weeks before the Olympia, and she got 6th place, and then at the Olympia, she got first call-outs, and they only called out 7 or 8 people. I think 7 people. But 2 weeks before that, she got a placing that I do not think she was expecting, which was 6th place to a lot of people who were not, I don't think any of those people were qualified for the Olympia, and she was. So, were any of these people? Yulia must have been, yeah, Yulia was, because she competed last year at the Olympia, but none of these people that beat her had qualified. So you look at Ali's physique and you wonder, okay, well, why did she get 6th place, but then at the Olympia she gets 11th? It depends on who shows up that day. So I don't know what her feedback was. She didn't say what her feedback was, but it's just something that you can take with you and see that, like, switch ups in the division happen all the time. So then now I'm just losing track because I got distracted when I had to go pee. But great balance top to bottom and excellent conditioning. I think maybe she just had like some muddiness in her tan at the Daytona show. I'm not sure. Okay. So yeah, that's another thing you want to look at. And then what else am I thinking? Yeah, see how far people come in the amateurs, regional shows. So I will go to contests and I will see of the shows, how many times have the overall people competed before? So the person who won the overall at Marz show, she last competed in 2024. How did she do? Getting top fours in bikini. And then came back and won an overall this year. So yeah, I think that's all that I'm getting at. And then let's go back to the Texas show, because those people have competed more often. So if we look at Ashley's show, the Texas show, and then we go back to those people who got first place, and you'll also look at second place and see what was the difference between them. Did one person like had better conditioning, or what was it? So I'll go to Bianca, and she has a history of doing really well at shows. She's gotten second at the Texas show before. She got 12th at nationals, and they only mark to 15th. And she's placed in nationals twice before. So you'll kind of see what people's journeys are. And yeah, another thing you want to study is like people's suit colors. So I always like go over people's suit colors. Someone who's coming to mind is Woo B, and I ask, is the suit color and cut helping or hurting her? She sometimes will wear like a really light blue suit that does not flatter her skin tone as much. So here's that. And then you study in those ways. Like, is the suit popping off her skin, or is it looking distracting? Is the makeup looking cohesive, or is it distracting? Like, is the face really pale and it doesn't match the rest of the tan? That kind of thing. And that's something that I go over in all of my recap videos anyway. So yeah, that is pretty much studying the sport. Any other studying things you'll see like in the recaps that I do, where I like go over specific things on each athlete. I'm not going to do that right now because it would be kind of redundant. But like suit color, tan, conditioning compared to the other people, muscularity compared to the other people, evolutions within the athlete themselves, like what they brought up and like refined, things like that. So yeah, that's studying the sport. I think that's all in my notes. Yeah, if you have any questions, then let me know. If this video seems a little disjointed, it is because I paused and I got distracted a couple times. So forgive me. And thank you so much. Have a good day. Hello, everyone. I am back in front of some of my favorite paintings because I forgot to do my nonprofit spotlight for the week, or really for the few days, because I posted a few days ago. And I forgot to tell you the handles, the Instagram handles for the people that I mentioned in this video. So I will be putting their handles below. And then the nonprofit that I am shouting out this week is the Trevor Project. They are a suicide prevention hotline for trans people. And if you would like to check out their website or pass along their information to the trans loved ones in your lives, or just notify your own audience about it, because it is important, then they will be linked below, and as will the Instagrams for the people that I have mentioned in my video. And in the meantime, you can go to mommarainart.com. She made these paintings. They are absolutely incredible. Okay, guys, thank you.